landscape, and it's daylight. It's the first time in quite a while. All through the winter we're getting here in the dark, but Sunday afternoon, it's 5:30, something like that. We still got a lot of daylight left, so let's go check on the boat, and we'll kind of go from there. Got a beautiful, beautiful day coming up tomorrow, and I'm hoping to get up on that deck and get the port half of the deck up, and brought all the equipment, all the coring with me for this trip, and we'll just see how far we get. If I do nothing more than get the port side of the deck up and get the pan completely cleaned out and prepped for fiberglass and coring, if I just get the prep work done, I'll consider that this is a successful trip already. But there's other things I want to get done too. So, all right, let's go take a look. Well, this is the first time in quite a while that when I got here, my mast is still up on the stands and everything looks just like I left it, so that's good. At least I don't have to be picking that all up. Let's take a look at how the tarp is looking on the boat. I'm still not satisfied with this. Well, that's not bad this side. There's the starboard half right there that I took off. Look over on the port. And this time it held up. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, we're good. Let me take a look up on the bow and see how remember, this is double tarped up here for the sake of keeping water out. And that looks great. I pulled it taut enough at the stern to where it kept kind of a ridge down the middle. There may be a little water there, but it hasn't gotten into the boat at all. All right, hey, let's go ahead and get this girl uncovered. Because we got a nice weather to come in tomorrow, we'll go ahead and actually uncover this afternoon or this evening, and maybe get aboard for a quick talk about what we're going to be doing. And fantastic. Let me get this thing uncovered. All right. Smelling very boaty in here. I love it. Turn it around. Oh, we're out here aboard Little Girl, and one of the first things I'm going to check is to look at my Dremel bag and see if that attachment is in there. Here, let me get better light. The attachment is in there for sanding, because I bought all those Dremel pads, sanding pads, for doing the work up on the foredeck. So anyway, let's go take a look. I knew I left it down here, and I'm going to just open this bag and see where we're at. I came topside to do this, so we have a little more light to look in here. I remember that it came with a sanding pad. Okay, there's the Dremel. And there's the sanding pad right there. That's awesome. That means all those attachments I just bought, all the sanding pads I bought, it's going to work just great. We're going to be able to get up on the deck and sand that pan, get it real nice and smooth before we start laying down some new coring. So, good news. I hadn't touched it ever since I bought the thing, because I didn't really have a need for it, but now I have a need for it, and it's great that we not only have one that goes on it, but we have a couple of pads right there. But I just bought a whole bunch, and with the bunch I bought, we should be good to go for this whole project. All right, good. Let me explain what we're going to be doing here. Here's everything up on the boat. All the coring is up here. The box is back there. I'm going to take each one of these bundles out and tie them. I got all this extra rope I bought from the last time I was down here. It's just some really slimsy little 1/4 inch stuff. I'm going to tie each bundle with one tie around, and they're all going up in the V-berth. And just to be ready for whenever we get ready to do the actual coring job. But in the meantime, what I'm trying to do is get rid of these boxes and just kind of unload everything and just simplify and get them down to a simple amount and easy to stack without having to deal with the boxes. All of it, everything's all neatly tied, bundled, That's the one piece I bought from the other Seafarer owner that he contacted me via the Seafarer website. And so anyway, that is enough to do the entire foredeck right there. And it's all neatly stashed below here, and it'll stay right here until we get ready to start pulling it up and laying it with fiberglass. Anyway, good to go. That's a wonderful thing to get accomplished right off the bat, just after getting here in the evening. Are you kidding me? This almost never, all through the winter, we never get to do this because everything is too dark. And anyway, I'm just really, really rejoicing that this much got done here before my first work day even starts. By the way, let me turn this around. Monday is going to be absolutely glorious. We should be up to right about 60 degrees. Absolutely beautiful, nothing but sun all day. Awesome, awesome day to get some work done on that foredeck. And I'm going to go check in on my folks. Yeah, hey, we're here. I want to spend time with them. You know, I want to go check in on them. And if we get a chance a little bit later, I may get back out here and examine one area that we're going to have to do a repair on. We'll talk about that. I'm going to turn this around and show you right now what happened when Ryan and I were tearing up the foredeck. Cut it just right after we cut the foredeck. We were trying to pry on it a little bit and see if we could get it up. And it was getting dark. We couldn't see hardly anything. And all of a sudden, he felt a screwdriver go right through the pan. And it didn't take any time at all to figure out where it was. And what we're going to have to do is support it from below so that we can get it to that glass to come back up into place, sand it out, and then lay some fresh resin and glass down on it to try to patch up that one place. Once everything's laid with all fresh, well, it's not epoxy, polyester resin and glass. You're never going to know it was even there. But the repair needs to be made. I'm going to show you what we're going to be dealing with, and then I'm going to go on and see my folks for a while. So here, let me turn this around. All right, there it is. That's where we're going to have to support it from below and clean all that up. That is a mess up in there. But all that's going to need to be sanded, cleaned from above. You can tell that had rotted out a long time ago. You can see where old coring, that dark stuff had just dripped down through and filled right down into the pan. This is one of those little cubbies up in the V-berth. And so that's all going to have to be worked on. You can see it just extends pretty much forward here. But that's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to have to clean it, sand it from above, lay some fresh glass and polyester resin into it, and make a repair before we can even think about putting new coring down on top of that. So, all right, just want to let you know that's one of the things we're going to have to be dealing with going forward. Well, guys, it's a new day, and let's go get the boat uncovered. I'm going to go get that all done and kind of get things set up, and then I'm going to be back in here and grab some breakfast real quick before we get out and start pulling up that deck. So, hey, let's get it started. We're back, guys. Mom and Dad are still asleep in the room next door here. So, this is where we're starting for the day. I left all my tools right there for getting up this decking. I think it's going to be easier up in the bow, but back here it got pretty solid. And I'm going to probably have to renew that line, use my Dremel and just go over that cut line one more time. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. There's a lot of repair work to do. By the way, there's the mess that you were looking at last night right there. Can you believe that? How bad that is? Oh my goodness. I've got so much work to do to clean up that, just rake all that out of there and clean it and sand it and get it down to where we can get some fresh polyester resin and glass down on that. That is going to be a job, but it's got to be done. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and get some breakfast and get back out here and get this whole process started of getting up the port half of the deck. Welcome back to another day aboard Little Girl. Just got back. This is our peel ply. 48 bucks for a sheet of 60 by 2 yards of what they call release fabric, but that's what it is, peel ply. So anyway, we got it. That's all we're going to need for the whole foredeck. I'm going to stash it below, and then get my toolkit up on the deck, and we're going to start pulling up that port side of the deck. This is coming slow but sure. Trying not to break the skin here. Trying to get this all up in one piece without breaking the skin. Well, just a bit of a progress report here. We're making progress, but two things. This coring over on this side to the outside of the port is good, solid coring, and it is not wanting to let go. And so what I'm having to do is basically break the skin away from the good, solid coring. This side of the deck was in good shape, and that was what I feared, that it's going to be a pain in the neck trying to get this up. But then on the other side, as I'm doing this is really rotted over on this side. There's a lot of just loose garbage you can pull out of there. But the problem is I was prying down, putting pressure on this. Putting pressure on this to pry up on this. It actually was breaking the pan below it, and that's not good. That's not good. We can't do that. So I'm going to have to move further back here and see if I can't get it from the back without any more damage to the pan. It's not bad. I mean, it's just a crack, but still, this is one of the perils of ripping into an old boat that's been this way for 50 years. Well, I mean, the damage has not been here for 50 years, but the boat's 50 years old, over 50 now. And anyway, that's progress report, and that's all I'm going to do for now. I'm going to get back to work. Guys, this is as far as I've gotten it, and I've got about an hour before I have to leave and take my mom's dog down to the vet. But what I'm doing now is to take my marvelous hunk of butcher block here, and I get it pried up as far as I can, shove this underneath, and then I'm taking my dad's big old crowbar here, like this, and I get it as far under there as I can, and then put the hammer underneath it and then pry up. The deal is, this is good solid, I don't know if you can see that, this stuff right here, okay, this stuff right here, that is good solid coring, and that coring is giving me a good base to work from to pry up on the skin. And so I just pry this up a little bit at a time, stick my crowbar way up in there, then put the hammer down behind it, and then pry up using the hammer as a fulcrum. And it's slowly but surely getting there, but I mean, boy, this is not coming up anywhere near as easy as the starboard side. This is a long, tedious process, and I've only got about an hour before I have to leave and take the dog. So I'm hoping I can get the rest of this. We'll see. I may have to finish this up tomorrow. You know, hey, you just don't know. When you start in on something like this, you just don't know. And so that's what we're dealing with at this point. You got it, guys. That's it. We're done. A lot of work. But there it is. Port half is up. You see the difference between everything that was more toward the bow and everything back here toward the aft end of the foredeck was just pretty solid. Well, we got a lot of work. I do see some rotted stuff right back in front of the cabin there. All this has got to come up. but at least both halves of the deck are up, and we're good. We're good. Hallelujah, amen. Going to take a couple of stills here, get the message off to Ryan that the port side is up, and we'll get started on the cleanup. Awesome. Guys, progress check. No progress. Actually, it was really good. Ryan came over a little while ago and spent quite a while here. We talked about little girl. He went ahead and took a look at the deck and what I've got done so far. And a little bit of a change of plans. And I think it's going to make my life a lot easier and maybe get this job done sooner. But in the meantime, what we're dealing with right now is it's raining. And it's probably going to be raining for at least another hour. And so I'm going to just keep little girl all buttoned up. I mean, it's not on there well because Ryan and I just had it peeled back to look at it. But for right now, we're just going to keep it cinched over the top for the, and at least that way we'll keep the water from getting into anything else. All right, here's the deal. He looked at it, and we've got a lot of coring, especially on that port side, that is just solid as a rock. I mean, there's just nothing wrong with it. It's not even saturated. It's just all solid. And so we're going to let that stand intact. Well, I'm going to be doing all the work on this. I'm going to let that coring stand as it is, but we're going to be squaring it off. I'm going to get a straight edge and start squaring everything off, keeping everything to the line of the blocks. And then cut out all the stuff that's not within that squaring off. And then when we start using the new coring, everything will be cut meticulously to line up and snug right around all the existing coring that's still solid. And that way, it's going to mean a lot less that I'm going to be doing, a lot less work, because we're going to let some of that original coring that is still very good and sound and not rotted at all, we're going to let that go ahead and stand. And so that's the plan. Actually, I'm just kind of chomping at the bit as soon as it stops raining to get out here with a straight edge and start working on that project. And I've still got a lot of cleanup I'm going to try to do with some of the stuff around the edges and so forth, getting it all cleared out. But in the meantime, with that as the major plan, it really changes how much I've got left to do and what I'm going to have to do. So with that, guys, hey, just wanted to give you an update, and I'm going to get inside. It's raining. We'll be back as soon as this rain is gone. The weather is cooperating. Right at the stroke of 2 o'clock, which is when they said, the rain stops and sun comes out. So let's get to work. Let's get up aboard little girl. Okay, guys, here is the solid part of the deck. This is port aft of the this is port aft of the foredeck, and this is all very good and solid. There's actually no rot in this that I can tell. I mean, even this place where I actually peeled this up, this is all good hard coring underneath. But then I get back to right in here, and this out on the edge, that's rotted. I just took my knife here a minute ago. See the moisture coming up out of that? And it peels right up beautifully. So that's the stuff that we're going to be taking up. I think probably my cutoff line is right back here. Start right here on this line. Just bring it out here, and we'll see. I don't know exactly how far up. This feels solid out here after a ways. I'm just going to have to, cut up when I need to cut up, but I want to leave what I can leave. So, all right, I'm going to get to work, and my main thing right now is drawing lines of where I want to do the cuts and what I want to take up. So I brought out a yardstick and a magic marker, and I'm going to get to work. Okay, so the thing that's deceptive, when this had a nice, that bit of chopped strand mat on top like that, and it looks all fine and dandy, right? But this section I could tell is bad because it was right next to where the cowling used to be. And so I pulled that up, and boy, underneath here, that's rotted all to pieces. You can't go just by what you're seeing here on the surface, because underneath it's rotten. And so I'm going to have to use my my Dremel, and you just cut it all up. You know, cut this top layer so that I can get down below it and pop it off. And generally speaking, it pops off pretty well. Let's go ahead and show you over here. Here's a piece I haven't done yet. And you can see what it did right there? I don't know if you can look at that. That popped right up, and that's got water all in it right there. So, you know, just because it looks good on the surface with this chop strand fiberglass matting stuff that it's got on it, doesn't mean it's good. And so I'm determined to get every bit of this crap out of here. I mean, look at this. That right there is damp, very damp. And so this is all got to come out. And it's going to be time consuming, but it's less time consuming than it was before, because all this right here, this is going to stay. This is solid. And there's not any rot in it. Like I said, over on this edge right here, I peeled up some of that chop strand by accident, and that is just dry as a bone underneath there. That is good solid coring and good solid mat over the top of it. So I'm gonna have to just be real selective about what I cut out and what I don't cut out, and try to make less work but get all the rot that is in it and get it out. Okay, well, I held off long enough for both my mom and dad to be awake in there, and now I can go ahead and use my Dremel. And so I'm going to get back to work and work at least for another hour. This is the second day I've been here. Lost all of the first part of the day, all the rain, till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a washout. So anyway, I'm going to take advantage of what little time I have left and try to get this a little bit more of the coring cut up and out of here. Working like a charm. What I'm doing here is just cutting, because you got a pretty, well, it looks like it's probably chop strand mat and maybe some 6-ounce cloth. That's all that's left on top of the old coring here. So what I'm doing is just taking my Dremel and I'm just kind of zipping some strips across it. And boy, once you break that and you have that, just those strips, it's pretty easy to just punch it out, this stuff. I've already done all of this right here pretty quickly, and I got a little bit more left to do right there. The thing I'm finding is that even though this is pretty relatively hard, that there's still a lot of moisture in this, and I'm going to get rid of this. I'm debating how far to go back with it. You know, this is dark right here. I may take this too, but as of right now, that is really a good method of just cutting that sheathing that's over it with the Dremel. You know, cutting it into strips, and then you can begin popping it out. You know, it kind of works very nicely, and that comes right up. That's the beauty, because then you can. And there you go. See that? And that was with one hand. That was pretty easy. And yeah, try that. If you got to do this, you may have a different scenario than I've got, but that's what is working for me. So let me get back to work. One more thing, if you do this and you're popping that out, make sure you got an awesomely sturdy knife. This thing is amazing. It's belonged to my grandmother. It's a New England homestead, and I think it's hand forged. All I can tell you is this: it doesn't bend. It just cuts, and I mean, it cuts like, it holds an edge like you wouldn't believe. Anyway, find yourself an awesomely good, sturdy knife with a sharp edge, and then when you get down in between those cuts, you can go ahead and just start popping it on out of there. Like I saw a minute ago. Let me get back to work here. I don't want to keep talking. Bye. Well, I got this all squared off. Almost. This I'm probably going to take out, this as I mentioned a minute ago. But I squared off to here. That's got to be done. That point is probably rotted right in there. I may have to do some more on that. We'll come up here, come in, but that's damp. I don't know. Then I got a good square line across here. And squared up right there. And this is all very solid. There's no rot in that section at all. So I don't know. That's a good start for this time. And that may be where we have to leave it. I've got a lot of cleaning up to do. And My Dremel is indispensable. You cannot, well, you could do it without it, but all I can say is that with a Dremel, you just cut strips about maybe a 1/2 inch wide through that fiberglass that's on top there, and you just stick your knife down in and stick your knife down in and then just put it down as far as you can, then just pop it, and it just cuts it right out, pops it right out. Works great. So anyway, that's my way of doing it, and you can see the pile that I've already gotten up here. This is all just from this afternoon of cutting it in strips and popping it, and works like a charm. I love it. And all of a sudden, I don't feel as discouraged about how much I've got to do, because I realize that with just a little patience and using my Dremel and cutting in strips and popping it, yeah, we'll get through this. Well, guys, we're getting there. Everything's all cleaned up. We're getting ready to put a wrap on this baby and put her to bed till next time we're down. Awful mess. A lot of work to do. I mean, I can't believe how bad the pan, how bad the shape of the pan is. I mean, this somebody tried to cut through the deck from below in 2 places, here and over on the opposite, and I have no idea why they did that. I mean, you go down inside the cabin and you look up and you can see this cut where somebody actually was, well, I don't know what they were using, but yeah, they were trying to cut. And what a mess. So anyway, yeah, we've come a long way in just this one trip. The port deck is up, and we're starting to get all that old coring out of there. We've got a lot of squaring off over there. It's getting there. This we haven't even started on here, but that's for next time. And then I already know where I'm headed with this. We're going to go down below in the cubby and probably use Gorilla Tape and maybe some of that peel, peel ply, and tape it up underneath this. And then we got to clean all of this up. Probably even before we put the peel ply up in there is to do that. Is clean all this and get ready to lay down some glass, because this is just an awful mess. And all this is just deteriorated and fallen down into the cubby down below this. Just a lot of work is going to be involved in that one. All right, hey, instead of commiserating, be rejoicing. Got a lot done this trip, so I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of work, but boy, I'm just so grateful to be this far. I didn't think I'd be this far, honestly. This is a whole lot further than I knew we'd get the deck up, the skin. But to have all this coring up, awesome. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by Restoring Little Girl, and we'll see you guys on the next trip down.